Hey Ali.
Hey Petal.
Aha, speaking of petals, have you seen the new Channel 4 TV series, Flowers?
We've done such a good job with the twins.
You don't shoot family! Everyone knows that!
It's a good sign that they still want to live at home, even though they're 25. I mean, we're good parents, aren't we?
Ow, it's a family tragicomedy.
Yeah, that's probably a better word than black comedy.
It's a balancing act between sort of high art and modern family.
It all boils down to this family of four, which is incredibly dysfunctional. There's a lot of going on with other characters outside the family, which they balance together really, really well. But at its core, it's about a very, very dysfunctional family.
Yeah, it's grounded in very real family troubles.
Yes.
With hyper-realism, but it's got a lovely flow and sort of chronology. No, chronology. Chronology, right, I'm gonna try that one more time.
Yeah.
I said it's got a lovely flow and a lovely chronology. What?
Chronology.
Right, one more. I said it's got a lovely flow and a lovely chronology, in that there's so much going on, but it's all coherent.
Yeah.
It's all got humour and drama, everything's relatable, and it focuses around these four characters.
In terms of tone and style, what you mentioned as like suburban Gothic is an actual Gothic subgenre. So you see that in a lot of a few David Lynch movies like Blue Velvet and in Twin Peaks, but also I kind of compare it more to Tim Burton's movies, his early movies like Edward Scissorhands. You know, that basically having like a dark Gothic undertone to it, but they're kind of masked in a suburban, friendly, family-friendly exterior.
The other way around. It's more the fact that you've got family problems played out in this hyper-realistic setting, and that slowly gets stripped away. But as you enter the show, it's almost overwhelming how kind of characterized and depressing it all is.
There is a kind of tone which is like bordering on camp. What they seem to balance quite well is like a balance of naturalism and surreal, campiness, but also really, really tragic and dramatic stuff happens, and I feel that the show kind of like seems to almost dare you to laugh at certain moments when something horrific happens. I mean, there's one very dramatic scene which is incredibly emotional and very difficult for both characters, and all the while it's happening, there's some incredibly loud sex happening on the floor above. Yeah. And so it's stuff like that where it tugs at you in two different directions almost constantly, and it still manages to balance it all really, really well.
I think the entire show is just an excellent balancing act. It's not just the tone, it's the fact that it's this family, very grounding in a way, and the problems they have.
But yeah, so this whole thing is about these four people. So we got Julian Barratt and Olivia Colman as the two parents. Julian Barratt is essentially like a failed writer, maybe imply that he was better early on in his life, but then he's quite depressed as a result of his family struggles and his failure in writing.
Olivia Colman is the controlling housewife, who sort of her personal life and sexual life is implied is falling apart.
And they have two twin kids.
Sophia DiMartino as Amy and Daniel Rigby as Donald.
Yeah.
And they are great.
Daniel Rigby, from what I researched before this, he's actually won a BAFTA. He beat Matt Smith and Benedict Cumberbatch at the BAFTAs, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, because
I've never heard of him.
Benedict Cumberbatch and Matt Smith are like the golden boys of the BBC. That's mental, but yeah.
Well done, Daniel.
The actress who played Amy, I hadn't really heard from her much at all. I
think this is her breakout sort of role, and she does great.
Yes.
She's taken from Casualty, as in the show, not from A&E.
They just steal her away. But yeah, so Donald is, I think, what you described as a typical Redditor.
Yeah, it's the best interpretation of the so-called the nice guy. As in someone who thinks all the girls are friends with him.
He's not a nice guy, though.
Well, nice guys aren't nice guys, but he's a
self-professed nice guy.
You know what I mean? Like
a millennial.
The internet knows what I mean. He's a millennial, and he's the best description of a millennial I've seen on TV.
Right.
And he's a very relatable 25-year-old with big aspirations, lives at home, and is a complete arsehole.
I didn't find him relatable, but okay.
Okay, maybe that's just me.
And he's obsessed with inventing, and in a sense, that's like his big aspiration. But it's quite clear that it's kind of failing.
He's an awful person, but there's a great sadness to him. And it's all written and directed by Will Sharp, who is also starring in it in one of the greatest racist roles I've ever seen.
Very, very strong and kind of grating presence at first, because he's very, very Asian, for lack of better terms. It's borderline like Breakfast at Tiffany's kind of.
Endearingly over the top is how I put it.
I will make food for anniversary. Very delicious, very clever. Good luck.
You disturb me! You must advocate me!
I think the greatest tragedy, apart from the show itself, because it's incredibly tragic, but the greatest tragedy, it'll be the biggest tragedy if this was renewed for a second season. Would you agree?
I think the legacy of the show will be a fantastic testament just as it is.
Because it wraps up absolutely everything in the best way it possibly can. And I just feel like it's like Broadchurch, also with Olivia Colman, where like the story was pretty much wrapped up, and then they got a second season going, and then they hadn't really like
season 3.
It's just
talking of Olivia.
Yeah.
Can we just take a moment to?
Olivia Colman should be the next Bond.
Olivia Colman should be the next Bond.
There was actually a petition to get, because of the final episode of Night Manager. We didn't talk about the final episode of Night Manager.
It went out before we shot.
Which was.
No, that's the other way around. We shot before we. Whatever.
Yeah. But there was a petition saying that Olivia Colman from the last episode of Night Manager should become the next Bond over Tom Hiddleston.
Step down, but Olivia Colman. The thing is,
no, a pregnant Olivia Colman should be the next Bond.
The thing is, she came from the Michelin Web, Bruiser, Look, those that sort of area, and they're not bad actors. They're very good at comedy. And Olivia Colman, you look back at it, it's like wow.
She really got a breakout role in a film called Tyrannosaur, which was written and directed by Paddy Considine, who. She met, I believe, on the Hot Fuzz set, where Paddy Considine played one of the Andys. I think he was in the Bourne Ultimatum. He wrote, he starred in a film by Shane Meadows called Dead Man's Shoes. But like Olivia Colman is brutal.
What are you looking at? Who the fuck are you to judge me? You know nothing about me.
Top acting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think from then on, she started getting the big roles. Essentially, Olivia, we need you to cry at this in this scene. Got it.
No, it's not Joe.
About how distant I was.
Sorry. Church, I'm so pleased everybody likes it. We love it, and.
Yeah, hold it. Sorry, Olivia. What are you crying for?
I really, really liked Flowers, almost as much as Room. I didn't. But I almost liked it as much as Room.
It's great.
But I would say, like, because of the subject matter and like. It's really, really macabre. It's really macabre. I mean, in the first 20 seconds, it's morbid as shit. I'm not entirely sure if it'd be like a lot of people's cup of tea.
I think most people could do it though. I think it's a really good show. I think I would recommend it to basically everybody.
It's tough in a lot of places, but it really does reward you. So yeah,
it's very funny as well. I think we have understated this really how funny the show actually is.
Yeah.
There are some very good laugh out loud moments, and we don't want to spoil them for you. So go away, watch Flowers.
So if you like this video, like and subscribe. If we've recommended the show to you and you've liked it, share your thoughts in the comments.
And what would be really helpful is if you shared it, because we are awful publicity whores who really want to get our name out here and sell out. Give us money, but mainly views.
Yeah.
See you later.
I'll try a different one as well.
Yeah, you